Hello everyone, I hope this message finds you well. For October, we're doing something special by covering North Carolina urban legends. Each episode, we are going to discuss a unique cryptoid, an urban legend, an unexplained experience. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. In this episode, we are going to discuss the story of the North Carolina Boojum and his Hootinannie. Deep in the mountains of western North Carolina in Haywood County is the town called Waynesville, North Carolina. And this story comes from that region. And the story is of the creature named Boojum. I'm going to share you one of the best stories I found online, and I'll put the link in the description. The Boojum by Cassie Clark on her blog, where the dogwood blooms celebrating life in North Carolina. The story starts in Waynesville, North Carolina, in the Balsam Mountain ranges that run through Haywood County. This is where you will find the North Eaglenest Mountain, the peak where S.C. Scatterwait opened his Eaglenest Hotel on July 24, 1900. The 40-room hotel gained local fame for its extravagance and became well known to outsiders as a hay fever retreat. Resort patrons favored Eaglenest Hotel for its access provided to sulfur springs in the area, which they believed had healing properties. These vacationers soon heard of whispers of a strange creature roaming the forest. Locals called this beast the Boojum. They said he stood over 8 feet tall and had shaggy gray hair that covered all over his body except his face, which was of a man. Though he was thought to be gentle, locals were not scared of Boojum. They sometimes spotted him distant on cliffs at dusk, hearing his ape-like hollering in the middle of the night. Boojum was known for having two passions: precious stones that were found in western North Carolina and pretty girls. He would roam these hills in the moonlight, searching for gemstones. He protected his treasures by hiding the gems in discarded liquor jugs and then burying them inside nearby caves. The rumor stirred greed in fortune seekers who would seek out into the mountains to find Boojum's lair, but they always returned empty-handed. Pretty girls who would visit Eaglenest Hotel were warned to be on the lookout when they would head out to the springs to bathe. Boojum was known to hide in the rhododendron and the laurel bushes to spy on young women soaking in the pools. Many of them would be forced to grab their clothes and seek shelter from Boojum's prying eyes. Terrified girls would run screaming back to the safety of the hotel. On these occasions, small mobs of angry men would go out into the woods and search for the peeping beast, but they were never to be found. One day, a pretty local girl, her name was Annie, she made her way up to one of those springs after a hard day of work to soak her aching muscles. Boojum happened upon her and watched this lady with a lonely heart as she splashed in the cool water. Annie spotted the face of the peeking man amongst the bushes and the leaves. She didn't run away in fear. Instead, she was memorized and falling in love with the sorrow in Boojum's eyes. To the dismay of her family, Annie retreated to the forest to live with Boojum as his wife. By all accounts, Boojum loved Annie too, but his love for her wasn't enough to curb his greedy ways. Boojum continued to sneak off into the woods in the middle of the night to scour the mountains for precious stones. When Annie would awake in bed, she would go out into the forest to search for him. Annie wandered the woods, hooting into the night, hearing the sound of her voice. Boojum would hoot back. The two would hoot back and forth until they were reunited in the darkness of night. The hooting of Boojum and Annie could be heard echoing through the hills. It is said that Annie's hooting in the middle of the night gave rise to the term Hootinannie. The destruction of the Eaglenest Hotel in 1918 didn't stop these stories of the Boojum and the Hootinannie from spreading. Sightings and tales of Boojum still resound in Haywood County. Perhaps More recent sightings are of the offspring of the original Boojum in Hootinannie, and it shows that their love continued. And maybe it's their children that are still walking the mountains of Haywood County. To elaborate a little bit more, there's a brewery in Waynesville and a small little restaurant called the Boojum. Maybe one day we'll go up there and see what's up. With all this haleen stuff, it's kind of difficult to get to certain areas, and I'm not sure how Waynesville fared from the storm. But I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you are having fun, and please be safe out there. Happy Halloween, and remember, we are not each other's enemies.